Hey guys, Rika here, and today I bring you April Fool's Day 2024 Heights of Glory. We need to start out in Lion's Arch by talking to Professor Small, who is, of course, an Asura. If you played through the Super Adventure Festival in 2022, you might know about the glitch that happened with the reality rig MK2 on Char characters. It resulted in Longcat is long, and they have finally given us something even better. Once you talk to Professor Small, you'll get the achievement Fear Not This Height and 5 Fool's Tall Tonics. They last for 30 minutes, and you're going to need them for the rest of these achievements. How long is this going to take? Well, it depends on which achievements you choose to do. If you try for the meta or for the fractal, it might take a little bit less time than the Fashion Wars, but why would you skip Fashion Wars? Anyway, it took me a little bit over an hour, and that was with some AFK time. If this is your first April Fool's Day or April Fool's Week in the case of Guild Wars 2, I do sadly have to inform you that the effect that you're going to see when you use it is not going to happen outside of this event. You will get the enhancement effects at least, but you're not going to get the tall effect. So I'm starting this off with the roller beetle race, which, I mean, why wouldn't you just do a roller beetle race when you have the choice? My favorite one is Gandoran Fields, but you can choose any of them. I do have a link below if you need to know where those are. And you can rent a roller beetle if you do not already have it unlocked, as I don't yet because I haven't finished the collections. You do need to complete the race 3 times and get at least the bronze chest for all 3 of those times in order to get credit for going the distance. This does not necessarily require the roller beetle, but if you use the rental, please be advised that if you, say, go into the water, you're not going to be able to remount on the beetle unless you go back to the rental guy, so you should just use other mounts and try to finish the race. And with Tall for 1, that's 2 achievements down, 4 more to go. Okay, the Longcat is long meme is one of the greatest hits of the internet, and when it entered into Guild Wars 2 in 2022, it was absolutely phenomenal. But my Asura as a Longcat, oh, I would love to have like a novelty item that I could use to just have this effect all the time. Maybe they'll give us something like the chatoyant lens, I think it was, that allows you to see the giant cat still. So in that first race, I did end up falling into the water, and I had to use my jackal and my sky scale in order to finish, so I ended up with a silver chest. But of course that doesn't matter because I have 2 more races to go and I'm sure I can get gold. No, it is not necessary to get gold at all, don't worry about that, but you do get more racing medallions if you get all of the chests, and if you didn't know, there is a rewards vendor at the roller beetle races, and there are rewards that you can buy with those racing medallions, so it is worth collecting them if you can. Luckily, when you rent a mount of any kind, including the roller beetle, you can go back to the vendor where you rented it from and get the mount back if you've lost it by falling into a lake. I will be showing the full race on number 3, just for anybody who's interested, and of course there are timestamps below if you want to skip through this. I am by no means any kind of expert at roller beetle or any other kind of racing, but a couple of beginner tips I can give you are to make sure that you know where your strafe buttons are, because that can help you to kind of move without having to turn, and using both your keyboard and your mouse simultaneously. Aside from that, learning the track is really important, and it shouldn't really take you all that long, maybe a few tries here and there. You do have an entire hour to try it out if you really want to, but what you mainly need to know is how to avoid the obstacles that are going to slow you down, and where you're going to need to be able to either drift or slow down for tight turns. When I first tried the roller beetle, I absolutely hated it. It was so confusing. I was trying to fiddle around with the controls and everything, but I think the first time that I really tried to master the roller beetle was for Halloween, and that racetrack is not really the easiest to learn for the roller beetle. Okay, this turn to the right, up ahead, goes over a bridge. This has messed me up so many times. If you just take it slow through here and turn to the right, make sure you get onto the bridge, you're going to be golden. This part's going to take you up the hill to the cliff. You're going to want your boost there to make it over the water so you can make it to the final checkpoint. If for some reason you hit one of the obstacles and you don't make it over the water, don't worry. It is the final checkpoint. You're already there. Even with a little bit of messing around, I did this in 5 minutes. If you're not experienced with the track, it might take you a little bit longer, but even if it takes double that time, it's still a pretty quick achievement to get done. Long cat is long. Oh, guys, have you heard of the Kiffness? This reminds me of that cat song that he did. What was it? Oh Long Johnson. I'll put the link below. If you haven't seen it, you need to. It is time for high fashion. If you've never done Fashion Wars, it's time. Find your best outfit, find your best dyes, and make yourself extra long and head over to Sanctum Harbor Waypoint in Lion's Arch. If you've never done the fashion show before, it is on a timer. It allows for 10 contestants, and the next show starts 2 minutes and 25 seconds after the last contestant. But if you have fewer than 10 entries, it's going to be a longer timer. It tends to be around like 7 minutes, I think. For the high fashion achievement, you need to participate in 3 of the fashion shows. You don't have to go on stage. If you don't want to, you can just be in the audience, and when somebody is on stage, you want to react with the 3 skills or one of the 3 skills in your utility bar. If you would like to be a contestant, all you need to do is when the event starts, you need to be in the box backstage, and you need to stay in that box until you're called to the stage. Then you go onto the stage when you're called and do whatever you want on stage. Just make sure you don't leave the area until your turn is over with. You will know when you're called to the stage because it's going to pop up in the middle of your screen. Just make sure that you're paying attention, as a lot of people get caught AFK in the contestants box and the timer will expire on you and you won't be able to participate. Look how tall she is in that chair. You know what? I'm gonna have to try all of the different mounts and try like all of the different emotes and stuff. Just a little side note, if you don't know how to hide your UI, it's gonna be Control, Shift, and H all at the same time. I like to do that for screenshots. It is very useful. And of course, all you need to do is that same combo again to bring your UI back. That's probably also important to know. Okay guys, I'm gonna have to do a video just playing around with like emotes and outfits and using mounts and gliding and whatever, because look at that. I mean, these guys look so fantastic. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to this fashion show. Now that we've gotten our fashion on, it's time to have a little rest. The upper seating achievement just requires sitting in a chair. I pulled up the chairs of the world list and found that a lot of them actually don't work, so this one is tried and true if you are looking for a chair that will give you the achievement. Head on over to the auxiliary waypoint in Radasum. That is on the bottom layer of the city if you're having trouble finding it, and go ahead and turn to the left. You're going to run straight through and downstairs, and you'll see a chair right in front of you. I haven't tried all of the chairs in the world. I'm sure there are plenty in Lion's Arch that work and plenty of other places, but this one is guaranteed, so if you want it quick, here you go. And now on to One for Tall. I'm actually going to be finishing this one because if you've probably noticed, you will be getting some event credit doing the other achievements, and you only need a total of 10. So I would suggest world bosses, especially metas, are going to have a lot of event chains. I just kind of went to a random map in Ascalon and found some events. I'm just kind of biding my time here because I checked my World Boss portal device and noticed that the Golem Mark II is coming up. So I'm just going to do a couple of events here and then hop over for that. The Golem Mark II I think only counts as 2 events, so I'm going to be 1 shy. I think I can probably find the Champion Crate Witch event that's near there, and if not that, I can hop over and do the Hidden Garden because that's in the same zone. You can find dynamic events in any zone going on, so it really is dealer's choice here. I just really like the Ascalon maps a lot of the time for event chains. I've now hopped over to Mount Maelstrom for the Golem Mark II, and I've thankfully not missed the pre-event, so I will get the credit for 2 events instead of just the 1. I do have a link in the description if you would like to look at the World Boss timers. It is useful to know, and you can use the World Boss portal device. I believe it's up to 20 minutes before the event starts. You will also notice that there are timers for the meta events. I would check the LFG, and if there is a squad for either one of those, join that because it's going to go a lot faster. If you own Soto, Cryptus Rifts are definitely a really quick option, especially if you go to Amnitas and just keep going to that central waypoint and using the Griffin to get to the Rifts. Alternatively, if you don't have Soto or you don't really want to do the Rifts, you can always do something like Silver Waste, which is always going. Again, it is worth looking in the LFG under Central Tyria and Squads. Usually you're going to see the weekly jumping puzzle, which of course is useful if you have a portal for that and you don't feel like doing a jumping puzzle, but you'll also see groups in there for various things like fractals, metas, and world boss trains. Join whatever it is that you enjoy doing, and the events are going to be over with before you know it. Look at that, super easy. And now I have an invisible cape for those times when I feel like just showing off my back. I really do hope that this cape was not actually made from the skin of an invisible cat. This is one of those items that's just fun to collect. You don't really need it because you have the option of not showing your backpack at any time, but the idea of an invisible cat just kind of hanging off your shoulders all the time is pretty funny. And of course, if you don't have a back item with Celestial stats yet, this can be pretty useful for an open world build. What do you guys think of the invisible cat cape? What do you think of the April Fool's Day in Guild Wars 2 in general? How does it compare to other games like World of Warcraft? Let me know in the comments down below. There are bonus events going pretty regularly in Guild Wars 2, and honestly, I don't even do half of them. Like Fractal Rush, you know, the world versus world stuff. But April Fools is one of those that I'm definitely going to be doing every year. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed being an April Fool.